There's no business like show business. It's just the times they are changing. Short form videos now command the attention of an audience that has become active in discovering content and restless in consuming it. YouTube, for instance, leads as the platform of choice for short form videos here in India. The subplot is that this change in viewership habits is also enabling the wider YouTube platform to thrive as short videos create a seamless bridge to explore longer format content. Creators get the flexibility to craft compelling stories across formats. Consumers get a wider variety of content to discover and explore. Brands, well, they get to craft a new approach to drive awareness and engagement. It's all about how you get more with shorts. So here at ET Brand Equity, we've got you the best seats in the house to study how escaping the ordinary in content is creating a shortcut to extraordinary opportunities in the micro attention economy. I'm your host, Gautam Srinivasan, and joining me are three masters of attention with some twists in their respective stories. Two mega creators have taken the time out of their busy schedules to join us for what would seem like an eternity in a shorts-driven world. Please welcome Neetu Bisht and Sanjyot Keer.
Thank you.
And to complete this triumvirate, we have with us Karen Thompson, brand director at MAC Cosmetics, a brand that has astutely recognized and harnessed the power of short-form storytelling in its marketing. Karen, great to have you on board.
Thank you so much. Good to be here.
All right, we've got our time with the experts. I'm going to make full use of it. I'm probably the most boring person in this gathering, so we'll see how we can raise the interest quotient. All right, let's start with looking at what we want, the audience. So Sanjyot and Neetu, I'll get your perspective on this. Because when we look at this journey where we are so far, short form content is really gaining traction. A lot of popularity, especially when I look at YouTube Shorts and how it has become the premier platform for shorts in India. Now, looking at your channels, which have grown so much, when I look at yours, Sanjyot, I'll start with you. I want to understand from you, A, the relevance of shorts and how you navigate this journey between shorts and long form content, because the idea would be shorts would be a great way to funnel viewership to more long form content. What would you say?
Absolutely. So the way I look at it is as short form versus long form is attention versus building a relationship. To put it that way, where through the short form universe, you can gain a lot of attention. There's great discoverability where people, you don't know who's watching your content, right? While people are scrolling. And that's a great way to grab attention of newer audiences. And once you set that, vision that, okay, this is what we're going to show you, then you lead them onto your long format content space and then build a relationship with them.
Neetu, let me come to you. When you become a mega creator, when you look at this journey, what has it taught you about what the audience wants? Because short form audience might want something, long form audience might not necessarily want the same thing. So as this big creator that you are, how do you navigate this?
Since I'm a I make short content.
Hmm.
You know what I prefer to do? Like if I'm creating a short video, I watch people कि वो क्या देखना पसंद कर रहे हैं पहले. Then, if they like the short video, जो मैं दिखा रही हूँ उनको, अगर उनको वो अच्छी लग रही है तो फिर मैं लॉन्ग फॉर्मेट में जाती हूँ.
So how do you know? आपको कैसे पता रहता है कि ऑडियंस ये देखना चाहती है?
मैं अपनी वीडियो की परफॉर्मेंस चेक करती हूँ. एवरी वीडियो की जो भी मैं वीडियो पोस्ट करती हूँ, मैं हर वीडियो की परफॉर्मेंस चेक करती हूँ. देन उससे मिलता जुलता फिर मैं कंटेंट बनाती हूँ.
Alright.
एटलीस्ट 20-21 मिनट्स का, एंड वो भी फिर हिट जाता है.
So highlights क्या है? What does your audience want? If I asked you this question, if let's say I'm your marketing person and I'm asking you कि Neetu as a creator, what would you say कि आपकी audience देखना चाहती है? Top 1 or 2 points, what would you say? क्या देखना चाहते हैं वो? Humor ज़्यादा देखना चाहते हैं?
हाँ, मेरी audience देखना चाहती है fight and masala. Kalesh, yeah, exactly. When I started in 2022, तो वो एक मिलता जुलता कंटेंट था जो मैंने देखा था. वो रियल कंटेंट था जो मेरे नेबर्स में हो रहा था, वो ननन भाभी वाला. सो मैंने वहाँ से स्टार्ट किया और लोगों को इतना पसंद आया कि अब वो नहीं जाता ना एक दिन में, तो वो परेशान हो जाते हैं कि प्लीज पोस्ट दैट। सो आई थिंक वहाँ से स्टार्टिंग हुई और अभी तक चल रही है और लोगों को बहुत पसंद आ रहा है और मुझे पता है कि उनको क्या देखना पसंद है। और मैं कुछ भी डालती हूँ तो कमेंट पढ़ना बहुत पसंद करती हूँ, उनके कोई भी कमेंट्स आते हैं, सो आई रीड दैट ऑल्सो। सो आई थिंक मुझे कहीं ना कहीं कभी ना कभी पता चल ही जाता है। इवन हर एक क्रिएटर को पता होता है कि उसके चैनल के लिए क्या अच्छा है और क्या ऑडियंस पसंद कर रही है।
When we look at the short form, long form content bridge, the issue is short form में आप manage कर पाएंगी 60 seconds. You can improve your frequency. But in terms of your long format content, where थोड़ा सोच विचार ज़्यादा करना पड़ेगा, then you still have to maintain that frequency. So how do you juggle the priorities?
You know what people think कि शॉर्ट्स ज्यादा इजी है, बट इट्स नॉट ट्रू।
अच्छा
शॉर्ट्स ज़्यादा टफ है बनाना। यू नो, थम्स अप, हम शॉर्ट्स में देखते हैं कि लोग जल्दी स्क्रॉल ना करें, वो वहाँ पर रुके, पहले वो देखें कि क्या होने वाला है, क्या होने वाला है। और मेरी वीडियो में मैं स्टार्टिंग में ये दिखाती हूँ कि क्या ड्रामा होगा, नेक्स्ट क्या होगा। लेकिन लॉन्ग फॉर्मेट में आप दिखा सकते हो, पूरा आप खींच सकते हो उस वीडियो को, लेकिन शॉर्ट में नहीं खींच
नहीं कर
सकते।
सकते। जैसे शाहरुख ने कहा 70 मिनट तो नहीं, 60 सेकंड है आपके पास, 60 सेकंड में आपको ऑडियंस को होल्ड करना है, which is a far bigger challenge, as you say.
Exactly.
All right, let's get in the brand's perspective, Karen, because you wear a lot of hats. You're a business leader, you're a marketer, so I'm going to bring in a consolidated perspective from you as a bird's eye view from what we have seen so far, with shorts gaining a lot of traction. You always have to be in step with what people want, what the young audience that you cater to, what they want, and you have to partner with the right creators. You have to see that your message is amplified the right way. I had a look at Mac's channel on YouTube, the cosmetics, the long format and the short format. Very viral engagement at play. So kudos to you and your team. But the question is, across the funnel, how are you seeing your customer journeys evolve? Because people like what they see. The question is, how does it translate into action, which creates money for the brand? What would you say?
Absolutely. So when we first started the journey on YouTube, we were making only long form content. So tutorials, how to get this makeup look, very step by step, how to create a particular look. Now that dynamic has completely changed. It's not that short form is replacing long form. I think exactly as you said earlier, right? It's a gateway. It's the storefront into the next step of the brand. So if you create something meaningful within those few seconds, someone might want to just lean into the brand a little bit more and explore more content. If it's not meaningful, they just keep scrolling. And I think as a beauty brand, the audience on YouTube has grown so significantly. And the way in which audience consumes content has changed a lot. Like I said before, it was long videos, lots of information in one video. And now it's become something really, really snackable and quite specific. So as a makeup brand, and YouTube being search driven, we're answering to so many different queries, very, very specific queries. So it can be, how do I cover dark circles? How do I remove clumps from my eyelashes? It can be very, very, very specific queries. And we're serving a solution to that with a short form content. So that can connect for that particular need. We've solved that emergency for that consumer. And then that leads them in to perhaps a longer form content, bringing them into the brand and the journey.
So the platform is also giving you the right signals to service your customers the right way. As you mentioned, I might have a solution for which requires just a short form video. Whereas if I'm interested more, you can serve up a long form video, which in a sense is what makes YouTube special also, because it has everything available in one platform. Would you say that's the key USP that brands like you like, that everything is available in one platform?
Absolutely. And we have all the data to understand what is it that people want to know. What do they want to know about makeup? What do they want to find out? What do they want to learn? And then that feeds into our content strategy because we craft the content specifically for that.
Neetu, coming to you, because जैसे आपने बताया था, वीडियो तो क्रिएट करना एक जगह है. The most important thing is the hook. कि पहले 5 सेकंड में जो एक वीडियो देखा मैंने as a viewer, how do I keep looking at your channel and keep exploring the content? So for our viewers, what's the secret to a great hook? How do you go about it? Is there a structure that you have for your hook? What would you say?
Exactly. अभी हुक बहुत ज्यादा वायरल है कि हमें एक हुक डालना है तो ऑडियंस रुके एंड उस वीडियो को स्क्रॉल ना करे, थम्स अप ना करे, और हमारे लिए थम्स अप इट्स नॉट गुड. सो व्हाट आई डू इन माय वीडियोस, पहले मैं देखती हूँ कि लोग किस किस एंगल से रुकेंगे उस वीडियो को स्क्रॉल ना करने से. सो मैं वो चीजें यूज करती हूँ एंड उस तरीके का कंटेंट बनाना पसंद
कोई
करती हूँ.
एक वीडियो का एग्जांपल दे दीजिए जहां पे आपने हुक के बारे में सोचा और इतना जबरदस्त काम किया कि अब व्यूअरशिप वेंट रॉकेटेड आफ्टर इट.
आई मेड अ वीडियो मैगी के साथ,
हम्म.
जिसमें मैंने एक आलू लिया, उसमें एक स्टिक लगाई और मैगी को रख दिया. तो लोगों को लगा कि वो कैसे स्टैंड कर रही, कैसे खड़ी है वो मैगी, और मैं चली गई वहां से. तो वो स्क्रॉल नहीं हुआ, वो वीडियो बहुत हिट गया. आई थिंक 50 मिलियन प्लस.
50 million plus. वाओ.
सो फिर मैंने दिमाग लगाया कि ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है एक वीडियो प्रेजेंट करने के लिए, कि आपका हुक, आपका पहला एक वो पॉइंट अच्छा होना चाहिए वीडियो को हिट करने के लिए.
उसमें स्ट्रक्चर होना चाहिए या फ्री में आना चाहिए आपको? बिकॉज थोड़े लोगों को ऐसा लगता है कि स्ट्रक्चर्ड रहे, कि अगर हम इस विषय पर इफ वी टॉक अबाउट दिस टॉपिक इन अ डिफरेंट वे, बट बिकॉज फ्रीक्वेंसी इज ऑल्सो देयर, एक स्ट्रक्चर लाना जरूरी है. डू यू थिंक अ स्ट्रक्चर इज नेसेसरी फॉर अ हुक?
आई डोंट थिंक सो. फ्री रहना जरूरी है, लेकिन आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आपकी वीडियो में क्या होने वाला है.
But I believe what the short format do is it allows you to cut the noise. That you stick to what's important and what will make your audience stick to that screen for those 2 minutes and not scroll. And once they have been glued onto your screen, it gives you a chance to then now take them to your longer format videos where you can build a community with them. So that's very important.
A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. But in terms of cutting the noise, Karen, we're seeing short form videos appear to be more creator dominated, and that opens up significant opportunities for brands, considering there's a higher recall value for the content and for the brands as well. And we are seeing a lift in awareness and purchase intent, according to studies in India. It's especially more common. Now, MAC Cosmetics has worked with a wide cast of creators across contexts, whether it's launches, and I saw co-creatives, to social media challenges. You've done a lot. So, what's your secret to marketing with creators in the right way, in a very competitive short form universe, in terms of messaging and, more importantly, ROI? Those are the three letters which keep every marketer up at night. So how do you make sure that your messaging is being driven home, but at the same time it's causing the right kind of action in terms of ROI? And if I had to boil it all together into one question, if you were starting a shorts channel on YouTube today, what would you do differently?
That's a great question. And I think if I was starting a shorts channel today, it's not really about what I would do differently, but more about knowing what works now and setting up every piece of content for success, for sure. With short form content, you have such little time, every second counts. So I think that's what is really important in terms of crafting exactly what goes into that much time, because you can lose somebody or you can gain somebody.
But there's a plus side to it as well, right? Because there's moment marketing, which means if you capture that moment in the right way, you become more relevant to your audience. So from that context, do you think there's a plus point to that?
Absolutely, absolutely. With short form content, and again, going back to your question on, what do we need to do now with short form content, it has to be contextual, it has to be seasonal. Because that content can be gone in an instant, right? So it has to be something which is, on trend and in the moment. Which is a little bit different from long form content, which could live for a much longer period. It can sit on your channel for a very, very long time. When it comes to working with creators, the most important thing is that there's resonance with the brand and it's authentic. So, when we work with a creator, first of all, we don't just pick a creator based on metrics. It's based on, first of all, a relationship that we might have with the creator, or who fits the vibe of this particular campaign. So it's a really carefully considered and intentional strategy of who to work with. And then we partner a lot with people who we consider our brand friends. And that often works for us because there's a more authentic story there. So when we create a piece of content, we don't just hand over a script. We brief for the feeling or the emotion or what do we want to land. And then we work together with the creator. So it comes through in their authentic voice. It's kind of that creative authenticity which is more a commercial strategy. If it comes across, if it is authentic, and it comes across as personal and unscripted, then that really builds trust, and that's something that an audience can resonate with.
And it's a real partnership, which means it can be a longer term engagement with the creators that you partner with, because they'd be comfortable partnering with you as well.
Absolutely. So, I mean, a couple of creators we've worked with recently, like Nena Ban, Ankita Chaturvedi, these are creators who, like I said, they're brand friends. We've worked with them for a long time. We see them at our events, we see them in our stores, and then we work together on content. So it's an authentic relationship, and that really comes through to the person watching that and resonates with them.
All right, you've got a friend in me. That's the conversation brands are having with their creator friends. All right, let's take this forward and explore the right choice that creators and brands need to make. So let me come to you, Sanjyot, because this is a problem which I've seen in certain instances where you have made a name for yourself. I'm giving you a theoretical example. You made a name for yourself in one particular niche, but you also need to be keeping up with the trends so that it's more relevant. And now you incorporate, say, some of the trends in what you do, which brings in new audiences. But the question is, that audience was never your core audience. It's something which is ancillary. It's come because of that trend. Now, as a creator, what do you do? How do you balance mass with niche? Because you've got your core audience and you've got these additional audiences coming in. Some creators churn them out. They say, we want to stick to our core audience. Some creators say, all right, we'll broaden the tent. We'll make sure everyone is involved. But again, it's tricky when you have a niche. What do you do as a creator?
I use trends as a tool and not as a strategy. That is very important for me. That whenever there's a trend, I first analyze that, does it flow into my own niche? If it does not go with it, I don't go with the trend. That's very important because I've been doing this for 10 years. It has taken a lot of effort to create that niche, right? And food is such a space where there's so much happening that once you create your niche and if you start to do what everyone else is doing, the people who are already interested and are invested in, watching you, they lose out interest. So that is the way I look at it. And also I feel that, you use the trend if you feel like using it, but if you can create the trend or be the trend, that's more important.
But how tough is it to maintain your authentic voice? Because sometimes you as a creator would feel, you know what, this is what I want to showcase. But you might not get the response that you thought you would get. But sometimes creators say, that's okay. It's part and parcel of the form, the art form, that sometimes I would think that this works best. How do you maintain that balance with what you want versus what they want? That's the fourth most important thing. Neetu, coming to you, आपसे ये अगर मैं सवाल पूछूं कि balancing mass with niche, अब आपका ये है कि you have a wide variety of content that you do. So इसमें trends को follow करना थोड़ा आपके लिए easier हो जाता है क्योंकि you can bring in a lot of audience which says, oh, I'm interested. But keeping that audience, अब उसके लिए क्या करती हैं? अगर आप ये regular audience ना हो, किसी ट्रेंड के वजह से आपके चैनल में आया है, अब उस ऑडियंस को लॉन्ग टर्म ऑडियंस बनाने में आप क्या करेंगी?
Since I have 15 YouTube channels, so अगर कोई ट्रेंड आया है और वो किस चैनल पर सूट करता है और कौन सी ऑडियंस उसको देखना पसंद करती है, दैट इज मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर मी. सो अगर वो शॉर्ट वीडियो के लिए आया है, सो मैं उसके लिए बनाना ज्यादा पसंद करूंगी. अगर वो लॉन्ग फॉर्मेट के लिए आया तो उसके लिए. सो आई थिंक डिपेंड ऑन कि वो मतलब वो किस चीज के लिए आया है. Exactly.
I'd like to thank all of our guests for sharing their views on the micro attention economy, and I hope you do too as well. And thank you to our viewers for tuning in. Keep watching ET Brand Equity.